to.
What you just saw was this Evolution D5 Plus with our 800 watt level 3 signature plug and play sound system installed, which is the pinnacle of our plug and play catalog for sound systems for the D5 Plus. And in this video, I'm going to take you through each component on the cart, show you exactly what you're getting when you invest in the signature system. And then I'm gonna take you in depth and explain to you what the purpose is and what it serves of every single component in this whole sound system. And I'm gonna explain to you why, when it's all put together, in this plug and play bolt-on package, it's the best plug and play sound system in the golf cart industry. So our level 3 system is, again, 800 watt high performance sound system. And unlike our other systems we made for the older D5 models, this system actually ties in to this touchscreen, the new D5 Plus touchscreen. And one of the coolest features, but it's one of the most simple features, but it's actually probably one of the coolest, is the volume control. So new D5 Plus touchscreens have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and people love that, but there's only one problem with it, is this takes over the volume control. So when you're driving down the road and you want to change your volume, and to turn it up, turn it down, you're driving down the road, you have to tap these little buttons while you're to do that. And it's not very safe, it's kind of annoying. So one of the coolest features of this sound system is we have a volume knob. Plug and play again, and it allows you to turn the volume up and down, that simple. So you're driving down the road, you're jamming, and all of a sudden, hey, your kids are being bad, and you say, hey, shut the heck up back there. You can turn your volume down and then get back to your music. It's not very cool when you're driving down the road and your kids are being bad and you're like trying to do this, and then you're like, hey, be quiet back there. That's not very safe. Now you can turn your volume all the way down. That's simple. So this then feeds audio back to the HD power plate back here. And this beautiful masterpiece has quite a bit going on. So now, again, for you, the customer, it's pretty dang simple because it's bolt-on and plug and play. What this is the signal from the screen feeds this audio control LC2i Pro. So the audio control LC2i Pro is an audio signal processor, and it takes signal in from a head unit like this touchscreen on this cart, and then it emits a new signal that's cleaner, more controllable, really honestly required for a high-end sound system like this one. And it feeds audio then to the 800 watt Memphis amp. And then the amp is driving all the audio components in the cart. Well, that amp takes a hell of a lot of power to run, especially because of the sub. And when you need real power, you need a real voltage reducer. And the factory voltage reducer on the Evolution D5 can only handle about 15 amp. Well, this amplifier can draw about 30 amp when it's running at full tilt boogie. So our HD power plate, you can't really see it right now, but I'll show you in B-roll. This has a Reliance voltage reducer bolted to the plate, wired directly to this fuse panel. So all of these components are wired directly to this fuse panel. And now you have a fuse panel that can handle about a 30 amp draw. Plug and play power, run straight to the battery, plug and play audio. This is talk about making premium products. That's a $50 Amphenol connector. The front channels of this amp are running our signature speakers you see here down the dash. The D5 Plus comes with no speakers on the dash. There's no speakers there at all. And one complaint people have a lot about the D5 Plus sound system, or D5s in general, about the audio systems in these, is that all you hear is a sound bar. Yes, there's speakers under the seats, but they're really underpowered, and they're not a full range speaker under the seat, which is actually the main reason, is not just the power, but they're not a full range speaker. So you don't really hear them over the sound bar. And this sound system fixes all that, which I'll explain why. Now you have a much more balanced audio experience because you've got speakers in the dash firing right at you. You don't have a sound bar just firing at the back of your head. And then our signature system also includes, and we'll try to get it on camera here, if you might be able to look in there, there's Memphis speakers inside of there. We swap out the low performing speakers that aren't a full range speaker. They don't have a tweeter. We swap them out with a good speaker, and it instantly brings these speakers to life and allows them to produce a much better sound, much louder sound. And then, the coolest part of the system probably, is this guy. So what this is our Memphis Stealth Sub. This is a Memphis PRXS 10 sub, thin line sub. We designed it to fit most battery types, and no, it does not bolt to the battery. It actually bolts directly to the frame with mounts. Plug and play as well, but it sits just above the battery. Now, I'm going to go in way more detail later on in the video about the design of this, the performance of this. But long story short, and if you know anything about audio at all, you can just tell by looking at it. This is not a cheap throw-in sub that gives you a little bit of bass for your sound system on your golf cart. This is a different, you feel this thing. You don't hear this, you feel this. This is not to compete with the cheap sound subs out there that are just universally mounted, low-performing subs. This is a audio experience for someone that wants to invest in a crazy audio experience, like a high-end car, but jamming to insane bass at all times probably isn't always the best thing. Let's say, you're gonna go take your wife out to dinner and, you're feeling good, you wanna listen to some music. So when you're listening to music, you're going to really be, but you're not always gonna listen to bass like that, especially let's say you had a couple drinks down the road at the bar, and then now you're coming home late and you don't wanna wake up everybody in the neighborhood. There is a plug and play bass knob that's included with this system. You can install the bass knob wherever the heck you please, and I can instantly take and turn the bass all the way off now. So now it's not doing anything. Now obviously you don't have to turn it all the way down, but you can adjust that and instantly change your bass on the fly. You're not gonna be making everybody mad in your neighborhood or your campground. And honestly, to be honest with you, bass is what carries. That's what you normally hear. You don't hear highs and mids and stuff like that. You hear bass. And when that thing is full tilt, it's probably a bit too much for most circumstances, because the bass in this thing is ridiculous. You can legitimately hear this cart coming down the road 200 feet away. Mainly what you hear is the bass. You hear our highs and our signature speakers, because those things freaking produce some insane audio, highs, volume, and all that. But this thing is insane. Not to mention, it's pretty convenient and awesome that it's under your butt. That's the audio. When I say you feel it, you feel it. This is an awesome audio experience. It's not just providing bass for everybody. You really feel every kick, every thump in the sound, because it's right below you, the driver, or whoever's in the front. So an add-on feature in our signature system is our XK Glow LED option. And as you can see, that's plugged in right there, hardwired in. This comes with an on and off switch, plug and play again. You install the switch in the dash. You can turn the LEDs on and off as you please. And there's 3 options. You have an option to make your front speakers light up. You can do roof glows, as you can see on this, and then you can do underglows. And so you have 3 total options. And what's pretty cool about the XK Glow controller is it's dual zone. So you can combine, let's say you want your speakers to be combined with your underglows, and then you want your roof glows to be separate. Sometimes this can be a little annoying driving at night. You don't want to be causing taking a bunch of attention, or it just can be kind of blinding sometimes, honestly, driving at night. Let's say you just wanted to show it off when you're sitting at your friend's house in the driveway or something. You can separate these zones from each other, and you can make this off, and you can have just your underglows on. You can actually make them do separate colors from each other. We have pictures and videos we'll be showing you right now in the video. But yeah, there's endless possibilities, and there's an actually pretty cool app called XK Chrome. You download on your phone, and you control the whole LED system through your phone on an app. And it allows you to adjust everything right there on the fly. And there's some really cool themes like Valentine's Day, Independence Day. Yeah, just a lot of really cool features. And that's, again, plug and play, harnesses all included. You choose what options you want for LEDs, and bam, now you got a whole plug and play LED experience on your cart. But as a whole, that's what the signature system includes. And now, show you why it's the best plug and play system in the golf cart industry. Now again, like I said, the system is plug and play, bolt on, very easy to install. But there's a lot of parts and components involved in making of this, and I need to go in a little more detail about specifically items like the LC2i Pro and our Memphis Stealth Sub. But before that, I want to quickly cover the 3 things that makes this system so special. The first one is in the fact that it is plug and play, bolt on. Installing an 800 watt insane sounding sound system, and the fact that you can install it in under an hour is pretty unbeatable. It doesn't beat that. Instead of wasting multiple weekends trying to put an awesome sound system in your golf cart, you can buy this and have it in your cart 3 days after you bought it, and you're not wasting a weekend. You have it ready to go, and you can install it last second and not be worried about what's gonna go wrong, because the system's built to plug in and work, period. Another one would be that it's actually built for the use of a golf cart. Golf carts get used, abused, they go through the weather, they sit through bad climates, they sit through the cold, the hot, the heat, and all of this is built to handle that. Marine grade products. Everything's braided loom and heat shrink and soldered and crimped correctly. Everything is built to be used, abused, just as like a golf cart is. So that's one other thing. We're not taking items and just repurposing them. One very popular one I see in the golf cart industry is people taking carpeted MDF subwoofer enclosures that are made for the trunk of a car, that's never supposed to be rained on, it's not supposed to be in any type of humidity, and it's literally supposed to be in a car, not used, not abused, not shook around like a golf cart is. I see subs like that in golf carts all the time, and an MDF carpeted sub enclosure is gonna last you maybe a year or two. Maybe. Then it's gonna start falling apart because it's not built for the elements. It's not built to be beat on like a golf cart is. Compared to something like this, when you've got marine grade plywood that's in Acrotech coating, that's built for the elements, it's waterproof coating, it's mounted to the frame, it's not just resting on the battery, it's not screwed to the battery like I see on the internet all the time. This whole system was built for the purpose it serves. And then last but not least, is gonna be price. That price makes it special. Now you might be hearing that and think, what the heck do you mean, Sloan? The sound system, $3,000. Well, trust me when I say this, because we're a 30-year-old car audio business, so I know what I'm saying is true. If you are to go to a car audio shop in your town right now and say, hey, show them this product right now we're showing you, and say, hey, I want a sound system that will compete with this. Can you install that and put a custom sound system in my D5 Plus? I promise you, it's going to be quite a bit more than $3,000. I promise you. And I mean a reputable car audio place, not one that doesn't know what they're doing. If you show them, I want the same brands, and again, don't be comparing cheap knockoff audio brands and saying, oh, it's cheaper now. I'm talking about real quality brands like Memphis and Audio Control, showing me real brands, real quality audio that's gonna produce the same type of audio experience that this sound system is gonna do. If you have that custom installed by a car audio shop, it will be probably double the price, honestly, of what this signature sound system sells for. So those are the three things that really makes it special. But as far as what I wanted to go into depth about a little more is the Stealth Sub and this Audio Control LC2i Pro. So first starting with this, the new touchscreen, the D5 Plus touchscreen, this has an EQ, which is freaking awesome. We love that. It's one of the reasons we decided to make this sound system tie into the touchscreen. EQs, you've got frequencies, 50 hertz, 50 all the way up to 20,000. Frequencies are your, bass is like 50, 80, 100. Highs is when you're starting to get up to the 20,000 on the EQ. Well, you can't just crank the bass on the EQ and expect your little 4-inch speakers under your cart to produce bass. It's not how it works. Speakers and subs are made to produce a certain frequency. Smaller speakers, tweeters, are made to emit higher frequencies. Subs are made to produce lower frequencies. And you have to tune your EQ based on the sound system you have. Well, the EQ is telling all the factory speakers in the cart and the soundbar what frequencies to play. Well, since they can't really handle bass, the proper way to set this EQ, which we show you the proper way to set the EQ in the instructions in the signature system installation video and the written instructions, the proper settings for the EQ on this cart turns the bass down because these speakers and soundbar can't really handle bass. And if you ask them to handle bass, they start to distort really bad, and distortion blows your speakers, which you don't want. So what happens though is you start turning your bass down, your EQ, because the speakers can't handle it. And now if we didn't have this Audio Control LC2i Pro, that would mean if we just had the amp, now the amp is getting the signal from the screen, and the screen's telling the amp, don't play bass. So that means our awesome stealth sub that can freaking rip is not doing really much of anything because this amp is telling that sub to not really play because the screen's telling the amp not really to play bass. Well, the LC2 has bass restoration. It has 2 channel outputs. One channel goes as main channel of speakers, and then it has another bass channel. And what that does is it allows you to restore the bass. So now we can tune this cart to play how it properly should. In other words, the screen's essentially telling the factory components, the factory speaker and soundbar, what frequencies, how to properly play, what frequencies it should play more of and higher of and lower of. Then this is restoring the bass, providing this amp with good bass signal, and it allows this thing to spread its wings and actually produce real bass. And then last but not least is just the way subwoofers work. Typically, if you want better bass, smoother bass, you want to feel the bass, you need a larger enclosure, more airspace, meaning a super small box with a subwoofer in it does not produce crazy bass, smooth bass you can feel. The large, if you know anything about car audio at all or subwoofers, you know that, you see a big subwoofer enclosure of a trunk of a car or a truck, and it produces insane bass. It's because of airspace and the sub you're using. There's a lot more to it than that. You got to build this enclosure to the exact specs of the sub and what the sub requires. But again, that's stuff we have done for 30 years now, and it ties into golf carts now. But you can know that this is not some universal bolt-on thing where enclosure where you have just a small enclosure where you have very little airspace and then the sub then produces very little bass. That's the exact opposite of the case here. This guy is designed for the exact specs of this sub, the Memphis PRX S10, and then it is dropping in, it has an L bend that goes down under here, and it's built to maximize every freaking square inch possible under the front seat. So, because again, the more airspace you have, the better bass you're gonna get, response you're gonna get. So this thing is maximized, built as large as it possibly can be, so it still fits, so it still bolts on, but it's not hitting things, it's not rattling, it's not hitting your seat, nothing like that. Even things as far as, we have this ridge here, you can see where it drops down about an inch. That added a bunch of cubic space just doing that alone. And now, that was actually a multi-purpose thing we did because now it also allows this to not hit your seat. You don't want the sub to hit your seat, and now that it's recessed down inside the box and these ridges are, your seat actually hits these parts, the sub does not hit your seat. It just gives you a really good feeling. Sounds sexual, but maybe it kind of is. Rump shaker. Just don't get me wrong, we could put a sub on a golf cart, anybody could if they just bolted on an insane enclosure somewhere on the golf cart, anywhere they can seem fit, and just bolt it to it and say, hey, now I got crazy bass. But making insane bass that's also hidden, that's a very tall task to ask. And we've done that with the Memphis Stealth Sub. Now you get an insane experience for bass, and you can't even see the dang thing. That's why it's called a Stealth Sub. Man, I've done a lot of talking. Okay. If you're still listening, thank you. Thank you for supporting us. I really do appreciate you. But I'm gonna stop talking your ear off. We're just extremely excited about this system. We've never put as much R&D and time and design in a product as this. We really have not. So it's pretty exciting to actually have it out now. And yeah, if you are tired of hearing me talk and you're a little overwhelmed with everything I've just explained to you, we have tons of written descriptions, pictures, and all this stuff on our website, bacarts.com. You go to accessory store under our website, click on level 3 signature system, and you'll see everything you see here. Again, pictures and all the stuff. We provide a full video on how to install this step by step. It's on our YouTube page. We also, when you buy this, you also have written instructions you can follow as well, step by step, showing you exactly how to install the dang thing. But if you have questions, concerns, you have, anything I didn't cover in the video, please let me know. And also, we like to reiterate, Evolution's always changing battery sizes. We really want to make sure you don't buy this system and you figure out the Stealth Sub does not fit your battery. Chances are it will, because we made this extremely skinny, so it could fit most batteries. But just to make sure, even when you're ordering the system, you can actually submit what battery you have, you can put a picture in there. But I'd much rather you Tell us what battery you have. Send us a picture of your battery. We have a text phone number on our website. You can text us a picture of your battery, say, here's what I have, and we'll be able to instantly pretty much tell you, hey, the Stealth Sub will work with that or it won't. If you have a D5 Plus and you want an insane audio experience that you can only find in a high-end boat sound system or a luxury car, then this is it. Like I said, bolt on, plug and play, and please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any questions. But with that, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening to me talk your ear off, and thank you for supporting BA Carts.